What's up, positive bitches? How are we doing today? If you are hearing this episode, then you are meant to be here, so keep listening. On that Bitches Positive podcast, sometimes we will laugh, other times, baby girl, we're gonna cry, but we will always walk away feeling our most empowered, positive bitch self. That is babe in true connection with herself or himself or human self. To my male listeners, okay? You're being seen. On this podcast, we unbecome who we are not so we can fully step into exactly who we came here to be. Today, we're going to talk about how to connect, call on, and hear the divine. It is you and God's time to finally meet. Now, something that I recently channeled is that we are misrepresenting the divine in our own mind. A lot of us are attributing human nature to the divine, and so it's limiting our relationship to God. Some of us are so engrossed in the human condition that we don't understand how much unconditional love, support, and guidance our angels have for us. How much unconditional love, support, and guidance God has for us. How much unconditional love, support, and guidance our ancestors, our spirit team has for us. The divine is not like a human parent. The divine is not going to get mad at you. You forget to do your meditation. The divine isn't going to hold out on you. It's not going to get mad at you. It's not going to punish you. Will it delay your progress in understanding certain things because we need time to be silent with God? Yeah, but you're not going to be punished. The divine isn't going to get mad at you or hold you in a timeout or give you the silent treatment. The divine is a safe space for you. It's your secret space to be with God. And I really think it's important that we remember the divine isn't looking down at us in a negative way when we mess up. It has this capacity to unconditionally provide us with grace. So if you're getting stuck in this karmic thought wheel of, oh, I did this negatively and now the divine is not going to treat me well, that is not how the divine works. The divine is not human. It has unconditional support, love, guidance, and grace. Just tell yourself, I'm not under man's law. I'm under divine grace. Everything is going according to my higher plan. There's nothing to worry about, only circumstance to get excited about. I want to remind you, if you are looking, because it is the holiday season, by the way, happy holidays, and you're looking to get some crystals, I added some more to my stack. I added citrine. Oh, I want to read you the little card that I got with this bracelet. So I've been working with Otter Spirit, and their gems are amazing. I really trust them to give me high quality because it's authentic AA grade quality gems. And with every single bracelet or earring or necklace that you get, they give you a little card. And this card says, everything I need to be successful is within me. And I love placing these little cards, not only as reminders of what I bought, but also as reminders of my own power. Because when we forget who we are, we accept low quality circumstance. And that's something we're going to get more into today. But if you do want to get a bracelet or some goodies for yourself or someone else during this holiday season from Otter Spirit, every single purchase, $1 goes to helping baby otters make sure that they are taken care of and do not go extinct. I will put the link in my show notes and you can use the coupon code CC20, CIICII20 for a 20% discount. Also, if you're listening to today's episode and you want to get to know more about the divine, then Decoding the Divine workbook will be perfect for you. That's the perfect partner workbook for this podcast. That will also be in the show notes. I was reflecting on life as I do every single day. I am definitely a ponderer. And I was telling God, I just want to meet you face to face. I just want to know what you look like. Because when I try to think of what God looks like, I don't picture a man in the sky, but it's hard for me to conceive, well, what does God look like? So I wanted to know. I'm a curious cat. I just wanted to be able to see him with my inner vision. And immediately I got the response from the divine that, well, Cece, you see me every single day. And I said, huh? Where? Where art thou? And what I perceive from the divine is every time you look a human being in the face, you see me. Because the divinity that is within me is within every single person. It is flowing within every single human being on this planet. Not only in every single face that you see does God exist, but every single bug that you're about to kill, Cece. I know, I'm trying so hard to be better, but I just run away at this point with the bugs. Every single bug has divinity within it. Every single animal has the face of God. In every living creature, God is there. And this goes back to the law of one, that before the theory of the Big Bang, before we were all separated physically, we were all one physically. And after this Big Bang or this separation, even though we separated physically, we are still connected divinely, energetically, and spiritually. The law of one states that I am you and you are me and I am that tree. We are all divinely connected. And that's how you can think of someone and then the next day they call you. I really do believe we are much more telepathic than we realize. We perceive a thought as self-generated, but really most thoughts are not self-generated, but we align with a specific frequency, or we perceive and receive a thought form, which is just energy, and we read energy as thought, and we think, oh, it's in my own voice, so it's my own thought, but really you're just receiving an energetic form. When you're constantly thinking of someone, it's because they're constantly thinking of you and sending you that energy. God is within all things, the tree, me, you, everything. We're all divinely connected. And the way I see it is, yeah, we have the same energetic ingredients, but why do we all look different? It's because there's different recipes. How we are made is differently, but the ingredients are the same. What I've been thinking about is, in the same way God is omnipresent and can always see us, we can also always see God. We might feel alone because we're forgetting that God is within all things. If God is omnipresent, always with us, can see all, know all, is in all of these living creatures, well, that means we're also always with God. There was a sermon that I heard and I got the transcript for it, and I want to share it with you because I think it's really going to help us understand how we can connect to the divine. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to call the divine or God, because that is what I like to use, those words. The words can only ever point to the truth. They can never fully encompass the truth. I can say I love my dog, but the word love can never fully encompass what I feel. I don't think that the word is so important or as important as just the understanding of what God is, which is universal loving energy. I see God as a creator of all and loving energy of all. As someone asked me, how do you connect your spirituality with your relationship to Jesus? Jesus is one of the best examples of how to be human. He understood how to heal with your own palms. He understood how to remove yourself from karmic cycles through forgiveness. He went to India and ancient Egypt to learn healing modalities, and he was trying to teach us that every single one of us has the power within to do what he did. And I do believe God sent him to awaken us. And I also believe that we all have the same power that Jesus Christ had if we can evolve to that state. But it's really up to us. Can we have this evolution? And I was recently reading a book called The Mark. And in the book, the author was talking about how the word repentance was translated incorrectly. And they didn't mean to say you have to repent in order to get closer to God. The actual correct translation is to have an inner evolution of oneself, a change of heart, because you are understanding, wait a second, I might have to unbecome who I am to understand my true power, to connect with God, to understand the true nature of reality. Now let's get into this sermon that I want to share with you. Before God allows a person to be seen in order to bring him glory, God intimately and intentionally shapes them in places where no one can find them. God removing everything from you is a great gift. God working in your life because he's isolating you from everything else is a great gift. Isolation is often a sign that God is wanting to work with you in a very intimate process. Notoriety, which is simply the act of being known for something, notoriety is God's greatest test. God will not give you notoriety until you pass the test of anonymity. The sermon was saying that God will break you in private so he can show you off in public. He doesn't want to break you down in public. Sometimes maybe he will if there's a lesson there to be learned, but he's going to isolate you. He's going to remove everyone from your reality so he can get to know you, so he can shape you, so he can break you and then put you on a pedestal in public. So he might break you when no one's watching. This friend of ours, capital F, meaning God, so badly wants to be with his friends that he will from time to time remove one of his friends from the public eye for a season just to have them all to himself. How romantic is that? That God of this universe would say to you, you know what? In this season, I don't want to share you with anybody else right now. I just want it to be the two of us. If God doesn't hide you when you're not ready, you know what will happen when he promoted you? He might actually be exposing you. And so he hides you and he breaks you in order to build you in such a way that you can steward more influence to bring him more glory. And I just think, wow, that is so special. That gives me goosebumps. Wow, God loves me so much that he wants time just with me and him. He doesn't want me to be talking to the Chads and the Brads of the world because he wants to get to know me and he wants me to understand me. He wants me to get to know me and him and understand my power and who I really am. When we lack understanding of who we truly are, we allow low quality people and experience into our life. Think about something that is so dearly important to you. I think about my car. I would not give my car keys to just anyone, would you? I wouldn't give my house key to just anyone, would you? Things that are really important to us, we do not allow just anyone to have access to. God is not going to allow just anyone to have access to you. That's why you might have a little bit more of an isolation season. That's why lower quality people will not even notice you. Some of the highest quality women I know are single, and we will talk to one another, and I will laugh because I know God is hiding them. God is protecting them from low quality experiences. It's quality over quantity. God is not going to let just any Chad or Brad talk to the women that I know. God is not going to allow just any Chad and Brad even perceive or see or notice the women that I know, because if he did, then that would allow these lower quality humans to get their claws into these high quality humans and drag them down. God wants you in that secret place, in that quiet place, in that sacred place, so that he can mold you, so that he can sometimes break you, so that you can have this metanoia, you can have this inner evolution, you can realize and recognize your own damn power. I think sometimes it can be hard to recognize God when we keep allowing people in our life to mistreat us, because we're thinking to ourselves, well, how could God allow this? Why would God allow this? You're allowing it. Why would God allow it? Why would you allow it? If you want to start seeing yourself as your divine, royal, true energy, stop allowing people in your life who don't see you as such. And when you allow people in your life who don't see you as this divine, royal energy that you are, that's evidence to me that you don't see yourself like that. Well, how do you think God perceives you? Do you think God created you thinking that you're a POS? Do you think God created you and said, ew, look at this disgusting dirt on the side of the road? No. The divine, remember, unconditional love, unconditional grace, unconditional support, sees you as this beautiful creation, divine in nature, royal, wants to protect you. But there's only so much that that God can do when you yourself came here to learn lessons too. You yourself has to learn how to protect yourself in some ways, how to have confidence, how to have boundaries, how to see your self-worth. You too came to planet Earth to learn lessons, and the divine isn't going to do it for you. The other day, I was talking to my dad and I was telling him, hey, look, there's a situation and I feel like I'm not being respected, maybe because of my age, maybe because that I'm a woman, because of how I look. I don't know. But either way, I've communicated multiple times. The other party knows I'm disappointed and this was a business thing, by the way, and not happy with how we're working together right now. And I asked my dad, because my dad knows this person, could you step in? Could you say something? And my dad looked at me point blank in the face and he goes, no. And I was like, huh? And he said, no, because if I step in now, you'll never be seen as powerful. You'll never see your own power. If I step in now, you'll never be respected. You have to do this for yourself. You have to take up space. You need to learn how to stand up for yourself. And if they're not hearing you, stand a little bit taller. The divine treats us the same way as a loving parent. The divine isn't going to do everything for you. The divine knows you have to do certain things, or else why are you even here with free will? You might as well be an NPC in the background of a video game if you're not going to take control over your life. The divine loves you, is always listening to you, will hear you out, but the divine isn't always going to say yes if it's not in your highest good. That person you want, well, maybe they're not best for you. So the divine is going to say no. We think the divine is ignoring us, but really sometimes the answer is just no. I have something better, or no, not right now. Cece, I'm not getting an answer. The answer maybe was no. The answer maybe was not right now. The answer was maybe you need to refocus on going back to school. You need to refocus on writing that book. You need to refocus on your child, not the Brads and the Chads. Sometimes the answer isn't what you want, so you think you're not getting an answer. Oh, but you are. But you are. So reflect on what is being offered to me right now and how might I give my energy to that instead? Access is something you need to be reminded of in this season. You cannot just allow anyone to have access to you. And if you don't limit access, God will. God will. Not everyone deserves your time, your energy, your presence, and your attention. You know who will always forever deserve your attention? God, the divine, your spirit team, your angels. They're begging for you to notice them. Just because you attract a lot of attention, you got to realize that attention is not real connection. It's low quality. It's a microwaved meal, and we want the oven. Knowing who you are is really indicative of you choosing higher quality relationships. I say no more than I say yes to people who come my way because I know what I want and I'm not going to settle for less. And most importantly, I know what God wants for me, and it's not a low quality experience with a nonchalant human being. So allow yourself to be molded and redefined, because that is how you're going to hear God. If God is removing people, circumstance, friendships, relationships from your life, this is a moment for you to have oh, the divine is trying to call me, but I have to pick up the phone. The reason I know God is real is because my mother actually dragged me to a chapel, and I just went there the other day by myself to spend time with God. My mother dragged me to a chapel because I was very depressed. I didn't like how I looked. I didn't like the state of my relationship. I didn't like my friendships. I felt lost. I didn't know what to do with my life. So she dragged me to a chapel, and I just said, God, remove everything from my life that has to go. I don't care what it is. If it's my relationship, take it. If it's more friends to be lost, take it. I have nothing to lose because right now I honestly feel lost. So any direction is better than where I'm at. And within a couple days, I think it was like 2, I found out that my then partner, now ex, slept with someone else. Ha 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 ha. And that was very painful for me. If you want to know more about that story, that is in my book, Show Up As Her, that you can get on Amazon. The link will be in the show notes. And in that moment, I was screaming like a psychopath because I just found out that information. And then suddenly I stopped and I started laughing and I said, oh my God, God is real. I just told God, remove anything that should not be in my reality so that I can find my purpose. And look at God removing the person I thought that was kind of the love of my life, the person who was my best friend. Look at God removing that. And of course, loneliness came after that. Of course, I felt even more lost for a season. Of course, I was isolated. But you know what? I found myself. I found God. Let the isolation season do its thing. How do you see God? How do you meet God? How do you hear God? Speak to God first. Invite God to create change in your life. Invite God to remove what needs to be removed. My personal favorite is, God, give me eyes to see, ears to hear, and a heart full of discernment so I can see this situation with clarity. And you will either get a dream about the true nature of this person, or in meditation, or you'll just start to get turned off. But you will get your answer. You'll get a text message. Someone will tell you they saw something. You will get your answer. If you want to hear God, start speaking to the divine first and you will get your answer. We have free will. So if we want to feel, see, and perceive God, we have to be the one to say, God, intervene. Angels, intervene. Spirit guides, intervene. I took this pain and I turned it into power because I let myself cook in the isolation season. I allowed myself to be redefined. I allowed myself to be molded. And instead of getting furious, I got curious. Who am I? What did I come to this planet to do? What am I supposed to be doing? So I started reading self-development. I started changing the podcasts I was listening to. I started going on walks. I started doing hot yoga. I started eating differently. Invest in yourself. The greatest return on investment you can have is investing in yourself. And you know what's so funny? Every time I look for God, I find another fragment of myself. And anytime I look for myself, I find God. Because God and I and God and you, we're intimately intertwined, because God is within you and you are also the divine expressing itself in human form. The divine chose to incarnate as you. So as much as the divine is a part of you, you are also part of the divine. Every time I look for myself, I find God. And every time I look for God, I find myself. And it's this never-ending cycle of me meeting the divine to meet myself, me meeting myself to meet the divine. Invest in yourself, because that's also you investing in the divine. The divine wants to be expressed through you, maybe as a scientist, maybe as an author, maybe as an artist, maybe as a mother. How does the divine want to be expressed through you? Ask the divine. How do you want to be expressed through me? Give me the right idea and give me momentum towards that idea so I know what action to take. Give me the right idea in the right season so I know what action to take. When I invested in reading and meditating and listening to different podcasts and reading and understanding about crystals or Jesus or scripture, I started to understand what I wanted to do. And then you know what I did? I listened. I would go into meditation. Prayer is speaking to God and meditation is listening. It wasn't until I was sitting in meditation that I heard God say, get on TikTok. And I didn't want to. My mom told me a million times, Cece, you have to get on TikTok. You got the personality. This is what you've loved to do since you were a baby. Get onto TikTok. And I always said, no. I just had an aversion. That's the devil, that's the ego saying, no, stay in your familiar. Because the thing about the ego is it knows exactly what to resist to keep you in your familiar patterns. It knows exactly what to resist so you don't change. Your ego knows exactly what to say no to so that you can stay stagnant. The thing that you're resisting is therefore quite literally the key to your evolution. Your ego already did the work for highlighting what it doesn't want to do so that it stays the same. And that's how you know that's the exact thing you do have to do. While in meditation, I clearly heard get on TikTok. So what I did was I got onto TikTok. Instead of me focusing on Chads and Brads and anyone, it could be women too, who I found were energy drainers, I focused my energy. I channeled my energy into what I was passionate about, which was TikTok. If you're not sure what you're passionate about, mine was creating, but if you're not sure, think about what did I love to do from ages about 5 to 14? Or ask yourself, what would I love to do if time and money did not matter? Find what you love to do. And it doesn't have to be your career, but just spend time in a relationship with your passion. Because oftentimes there are golden nuggets in there in ways that the divine wants to express itself through you, and it will bring you abundance. You want to keep your eyes on your passion. Keep your eye on listening to God through meditation. So silence. Maybe instead of blasting music while we're showering, we're just showering and being in silence. Because when we do mundane tasks and chores, our conscious mind kind of takes a backseat and we enter into a more receptive state for divine ideas, divine inspiration, and channeled messages. When I'm driving, when I'm in the shower, when I'm making my protein shake, I oftentimes get channeled message because I'm not actually thinking about anything. I'm just on autopilot. And that's when I'm able to be in a receptive state. Choose people and passions that uplift you, not that drain you. I have been spending a lot of time with one of my cousins, and I just told my aunt at Christmas, I go, I am so thankful that I have this cousin in my life because she really restored my relationship to divine feminine friendships in my life. I was so badly burned that I, for a really long time, found it very difficult to be in friendships with women because I was so scared that I was going to get hurt again. I was so afraid of having, it feels like your womb is just ripped out of yourself. Like it was very painful to me. And it makes me very emotional because she really restored my relationship. And she made me realize that it's okay and it's safe for me to be friends with women. And it's so crazy because most of my audience is women, but in my personal life, it was still scary to me. And also there's a couple of other women in my life who have really restored my relationship over the years. But I found that saying no to some girls who were just draining to me and saying yes to the women and waiting for the right friendships to evolve also was a huge part of me realizing that the divine is within everyone. I see how the divine is in my cousin because of how she looks at me, how she loves me, how she shows up for me, how she takes care of me. It's really a different experience than people who are low-key bullying you. It's a very different experience. So if you're having trouble finding female friendships, or if you're a male and you're having trouble finding male friendships, I had many isolation seasons before me and my cousin got close, before I found these other women to be friends with. But I needed time to attune my own frequency so then I could go and find these friendships in my external world. I see God in my cousin because I've attuned myself to be a better version of myself and therefore attracted better friendships or more evolved friendship. And now I'm seeing the divinity within all. A lot of confidence comes from you taking time to just be with yourself so you can figure out, what am I good at? What do I want to strengthen? What do I want to improve? What do I want less of? What do I want to say no to? What do I want to say yes more to? How do we hear God? How do we talk to God? How do we continue to connect to God? Let's think about what we've spoken about. 1, we call on God. We call on our angels. Give me the sight. Give me the hearing. Give me the heart. Remove what needs to be removed. Call on God to take action in your life. Or ask, give me the right idea that's aligned with my purpose and give me momentum to get started on it. Give me that intuitive push so I know there's no doubt in my mind. You can also ask for a sign. Give me, and it's 444 on the clock, which is all about stability and home and heart getting elevated. Ooh, your home and God is being elevated. I love that for you so much. And your angels are so around you and loving you and supporting you. Damn, what was I even saying? You can also ask for a sign. You can ask for a sign of a pink starfish or a blue elephant, and you will get a sign. I don't recommend putting a timer on it, because whenever I put a timer on something, I then get really anxious about it, and then it's harder for it to manifest because I'm sending it resistance. So don't put a timer. The next way we connect and hear God is just by being in meditation. There are so many guided meditations on YouTube. I have 3 of them that you can use. Also, you can join one of my challenges, the 21-day Breakup Globe Challenge or the Pedestal Path, and there's meditations in that as well. Get time to hear instead of talk. I know you might know what you want, but you also have to make space to hear what's best for you. So whether that's an isolation season or it's spending time in meditation a couple times a week, create space to hear. The next thing I would recommend doing is work with some sort of energy, whether it's Mother Mary or Mary Magdalene or Jesus or whoever is corresponding to your religion, or maybe it's a energy archetype such as Lilith, who was the first wife of Adam according to Jewish folklore. We have a whole entire episode about Lilith because I truly love her energy. If you want to listen to that, it's a couple episodes back. But you can work with an archangel, Archangel Michael for protection, Archangel Gabriel for clarity and communication and messages and guidance, Archangel Raphael for healing, Archangel Jophiel for beauty and happiness and joy. You can call on these angels and just say, Angel Michael, protect me. I feel scared right now. I feel confused. Angel Gabriel, give me insights, give me guidance, come to me, communicate to me through a person, through a sign, through a dream, in meditation. Show me. Speak to your angels like you would speak to me. And just tell them exactly what it is that you need. Now, speaking to them is one part, but the other part is actually realizing when they're speaking back. What did I say prior in this podcast? I said that a lot of time we receive messages, but we don't realize they're messages because it's coming through in our own voice. Angels telepathically communicate with you. Your spirit guides will telepathically communicate with you. And when they do this, they're going to send you either a vision in your mind's eye, a lyric about a song, or just a sentence. Go to the coffee shop today. It will be in your own voice, but it's not organically coming from you. You're receiving it as thought. You're reading it as a thought. You're transcribing it as words, a thought, but it's not from you. It's not self-generated. The way angels communicate is just telepathically. These advanced ET civilizations that we think are only in sci-fi movies, the way they communicate with each other, and apparently their craft is just telepathically, just thought form. When your angels, your spirit guides, God talks to you, it's not going to be a booming voice in the corner of the room. It could be. Oh, it could be. But more times than not, it's going to be a thought form. Do this, go here, and guess what? There'll be no information why you should do it. Go to the coffee shop. Why? Hello? Nope. They won't give you 1,000 reasons. They're just going to tell you, do this, do that. The divine does not explain itself oftentimes, I find. So it will come through as an intuitive nudge or an inspired idea. There won't be so much clarity. You'll get clarity later, though. After you go to the coffee shop and you meet your husband, you're going to be like, oh, haha. That makes sense now. After you start that business idea and after 3 years, you finally hit $1 million, you're going to be like, oh, okay, I get it now. I didn't understand why you needed to get on TikTok after my first, second, third, fourth video, but eventually I got it. It led me to my purpose. So it's not always that you get instant clarity or instant results. Sometimes it's just a message that makes no sense. If you want to keep getting more and more and more messages, take the aligned action. Be courageous. Listen through meditation. If you want a method on how to connect to spirit guides, I give you a whole entire method in my book, Show Up As Her, and also in my workbook. It's actually a digital an ebook. It's an ebook. And I give you information on every single angel number, how to connect to the divine, how to speak to your angels in depth, and it's all written out for you. I love you so much. I hope you enjoyed this holiday, and I will see you in the next one. Oh, and by the way, if you did enjoy this podcast, please leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Share it with someone who can use this good energy, and I will see you in the next one. Mwah.